do this. Okay. Are we in? Hopefully we're good. Yeah, not me trying to remember that. Oh yeah, I have to turn this on. Oh yeah, I need you over here. Okay, here we go. Welcome to welcome to the sleep deprived Yoshi stream. Welcome everyone, thank you. Welcome Cookie, Judd, and Cookie. Thank you. So, guess who went to bed at 3 a.m.? So, I mean, this is always, you know, the project's always going to be a passion project and everything, and I just put so much passion into it that I'm like, well, what if, you know, I just keep trying to fix the little coding thing. Maybe if I just keep, you know, poking at it, it'll work. And then I was like, well, it's almost 3. Maybe I should. So, yeah. So that was just last night. I've been burning midnight oil, or I don't know. I've just been doing regular work. Excuse me. Blah. Doing trophy work, and then coming home and trying to work on the game. So it's been back to back of like hope you guys are good. Yeah, excuse me for being. I haven't really talked to you yet today, so I'm now realizing that I'm kind of got that low voice warning kind of thing. I'll try and wake up for you guys. Ow. Just hit my tooth on the glass. But they should be fun. Let's say, whew. Okay. Anyway, we're good. You good? I'm good. Okay, let's get in. Beep. Hello. Music. That's loud music. See if I can turn that down just a wee bit. How's that? Is that a little better? That looks a little better. Okay. It's always something, and that's been the motto of everything what I've been doing. That always something comes up. Guess I could show the game. The game is working. I made this game over screen. It'll make more sense once we get in here. Big thing is I added icons to everything. So now all the text buttons are now replaced with little pictograms and icons and stuff. So I can always go back and like change the picture of this and then re-import it. So these aren't gonna be, don't have to be final if they're just a little bit off or whatever. I know there's a bunch of things that I would change about these anyway, but happy enough with these for now. Then we got a nice big play button at the top, nice shopping bag, and then some gears for options, and then a little pony walking out the door saying, I'm done. Whoop, there you go. And then this one at the bottom left is the credits. So I don't know if I've shown, I don't remember how much stuff I've shown off. Also made this to be a hyperlink actually, so that was fun. I think this will actually open it. Let me go to my bubble blur just to make sure. I forget what it does. But you click it, you open it, and it does actually open your file explorer, so hang on. Yeah, no problem, over. But yeah, it literally just opens a new tab. Malwarebytes has a new thing? Get out of here. yeah, once you get your video for the trailer, I guess I can do that too with the same kind of hyperlink, whatever. And then, yeah, we'll get that as a link. So, why not you do it on YouTube first or whatever? I guess I can link to your channel or something, or your exact video. Yeah, let me know about that. But yeah, this literally does just open a tab of your browser. So get to my website. And I'll try to hide it all, but I realized that I had other stuff open that you don't need to know. It's nothing, but it's like just weirdly personal stuff that's like I need to keep open. Anyway, but yeah. So sound effects are from this elements pack, and then special thanks is you. No Horizons trailer of some kind. So once that's up here, I guess I could do the original one that you had a couple months ago over, and then make sure that works. But if this hyperlinked worked, then I'm sure that'll work. You click home, you're back on home. We can do the other one this first. So shopping goes to shopping. What was that? Horizon. He just had a long name. OTH is even weird to say. Remember that I only got like 6 hours of sleep, so I'm just gonna use that as my excuse for everything. But yeah, none of this is really final yet. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with these. I was gonna have like, if everything worked, I would have had a oh, I misspelled it? Okay. Let's fix that then. Credits. Horizon. I can't. I'm usually used to like shifting clicked it. There you go. Is that better? Is you. Guess I can reorder it. So now I can select things. That's usually better. Is that better? Okay, anything else with this? Thanks, Cookie, for contexting it. I'll have to figure out what the exact text of the name of the elements pack, because I got elements pack 1 and 2. I'll go back to MuseScore. There's like a MuseScore pack with like 1,000 sound effects. But yeah, let's set that up. And for the hyperlink, that had to be like its own link button, and then I had to set that up in script. Let's go directly there. Yeah, so click the main menu, go back to main. You click the YG link button, then it opens your OS shell open, and then goes to the hyperlink here. So, is one of the easier, simpler files. Want to see something a little much, a little too much? This one has a couple hundred lines of text. Thank you for making a game. Well, if you do the goodie bag, I guess later, or just like support me with the regular base version, I'll appreciate it. Do as a nice virtual handshake between us. But yeah, this is the game manager that manages all the game stuff. So close that. This you can see on the right side of just how many stuff is going on. That this one file takes care of like literally half the half the game is just here before all the scripting. So if anything goes wrong, is like I go back here and see if something here is breaking. I guess I can split it up, but a lot of this is just kind of all the extra variables. Like this is just a bucket to put all the global variables, and it just happens that a lot of the stuff I'm doing have to be global variables. So, but yeah, let's go back to the game then. Didn't finish that part of the tour. Guess I can resize it in the project settings, but this is fine for now. Let's see. Didn't quite finish setting the values of these, but yeah, I was saying before is that the if everything worked, I would have had a demo, and I would have had it be, I think on itch.io would have it be public, and then I think I might have just put just like some of the basic hats, and like some of these pirates and crown hats be like off and like delete them, get them off the board, and then cause I might want to figure out how I want to do the missions for them, so making it so like it would have been easier to just focus on the cash prizes, rather than trying to also figure out the mission parts of how I want to scale that, you know, like what, you know, how much is a pirate hat worth, you know, is it worth jumping over 100 obstacles or 200, you know, how easy is that, like is that, can you get 100 obstacles jumped, you know, in one playthrough, and then it's like you just get the hat, or is it make it more long term, where it's like you got to jump over 1,000 obstacles or something? So at the time, I didn't have enough time to figure out the balancing, I guess. So yeah, exactly. I haven't had time to really play the game much, because I've been stuck in a weeds with all like that game manager code stuff, which is going and typing in every single line of that manually. Yeah, let's see. I delete my trailer for your game. Previous one's fine. Okay. Yeah, I'll add that as a substitute for now, or a dummy file for the previous trailer over the Horizon. Have people play like a half hour, then see what the average score is. Yeah, because I think that should all be saved in the high score. I don't even have a high score really set. It just kind of sets up your current score, then it resets every time you play. Like if I play and then hopefully I can jump over something. Give me something. So if I jump over it, in the top, you see a little animation of it going boop boop, you did it. Boop boop, you did it. Problem is that now if I get hurt a couple times and then game over, I have to set this up to actually be the string. I literally set up this this morning. Somehow I woke up around like 11 and then coded it so that this text field here would reflect your real total amount of bits. Because right now it's hard to see, but it says 99 here. And so making it this live and reflect that. So I just haven't done that to the other ones. But what I'll have to do is set up the score to be the same score as what you got of this playthrough, and then set up a regular old high score thing of like if score is more than previous score, then display it, but still display it regardless, but then update it only if the score is now bigger, basically. So, but working everything else around it, I guess, where I added this whole screen. We got this giant rewind button in the options shop and back to home. I think most of these work. I think one of them breaks. Here's the options. Oh, I spent forever figuring this part out. Turn this part off. I don't know. There's no music playing, so that's kind of the problem. And then don't think this is set up quickly enough. Can't even hear it. But yeah, I think on another version of this would actually set up the real-time music player, because I set them in different channels, basically. So this is tuned to just only the music. This is tuned to just the sound effects. So I think if I go back and play it, I can turn off the music and then turn on the sound effects. And then go back. Oh yeah, that's the problem, is that I didn't fix that part. So now I tried to like make it so that the options would kind of show up, but then I did another later thing to say like, oh, I wanted to just be a child and then have it self explode when you're done. So let's see. So now if I play it, I think we'll see. Might have to turn on the actual volume of the game. Yeah. Let's see. So volume mixer. It's one of these guys. This one? Maybe this one? Yeah, that's it. Here you go. Okay. So now if you get hit, you get a little sound. And you get that. So let's go back to here and then I think back to options. Oh, yeah, every button now has a little pop sound. Yeah. Let's see. You have an idea where you jump over an obstacle appears on the screen like, great, good. Okay. Platform games of Donkey Kong where you jump over the barrels. Well, in the original arcade, it just had a little doo-doo-doo-doo kind of like sound effect. But that would be like the greats and goods are kind of like modern example would be like Pizza Tower, where like would be some little combo thing, and does does the little poses. He goes brr, 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 and it goes different like wow wow wow, different things. It's possible. I could add something like that. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll consider that. I don't think there's any music on the main menu. Oh yeah, check this out. This part works on this screen version of the options for whatever reason. Why it doesn't play the sound when you're in the other screen? I don't know. Welcome, Mike. Hello. How you doing? Yeah, just showing off some of the extra features I added. A lot of this is all messy right now. I mean, some of this doesn't even work. But yeah, you can turn this sound effects off. If there was music on this player, it'll be doing that too. Oh yeah, this is I was gonna have an option where you can change the buttons. This is like a language swap button, where if you don't want to see the icons, then you can switch it to be text. It's still available as a thing I could do. But yeah. What's up on that pony? Which one? Oh, the credits one? Back here? This one is credits to go to here. So, this other one is the exit to, it's like she's walking out the door and that closes the game. But yeah, now I think, yeah, exactly. So now, I think this can do the background music slider. And if I want kind of both. So, it's one of those things that's like, it's one of those built-in kind of things, but really actually coding it to actually work with your game does take a little bit of finagling. So I can kind of mute everything here and then go back. Now it's muted. I can turn everything back on. Little sliders. Yay! And then die. But yeah. Cause what was that? Do I be in the options? There's somebody like coded stuff out or commented. Reset button, music, H slider. Yeah, so they're all like music and sound effects. Horizontal slider value change, which is a game manager global variable for set music volume, which is a value. So we go to game manager.set music volume, and then try and find that. That's apply music. Load settings, save settings. Saves a music volume linear. What was it called? Turn this one on. Set music volume. Okay, here you are. And I want to look through like 300 lines to see where it was. It was at the bottom. But yeah, this is where all of the coding for that is. To clamp it to like a certain value, 0 to 1.5. Apply the volume settings, and then emit a signal. So now you're emitting that signal. Signal is like someone waving to another piece of your code. So it's like, I'm gonna emit this thing, and then someone else can then receive this waving signal, and then have that do things. Everything's complicated. I barely know what I'm doing. I've been vibe AI coding like 90% of the time, where I just open Gemini and then say, hello, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you show me how to make a Godot music slider? And it's like, sure. And it sets all this up, and I'm like, okay. And then I can put in whatever values I want, but most of all this exact, you know, stuff has been AI coded. So it gets a little problem somewhere where it's like stuff stops working and it's like, yeah, I know. Where it tells me one thing or one way to set it up, and then later it's like, well, that was a dumb thing. You should do this. And it's like, you literally just told me how to do it. You were the one who told me that. Like, one of the things was dumb where it was like, it was saying like, oh, you have like, your game measured health update. How about you also make a health updated? And then like later on it was like, you know, you have health update and health updated. You should only have one. I was like, you're the one who gave me that. Like, so I had to like take it out and then I had to like reformat my entire script, and just because it was the Gemini AI was like, you know, we need a new variable, and then it just got confusing. So I trusted it for most of like some of the, you know, more basic stuff, or like trying to figure out like how to do things, but then it's a little wacky sometimes, and then I have to like rewrite and spend time undoing it. So we're not at a point where it's like I can describe something and it can just flawlessly work, or when I have an error and it's like, what happens is that I have an error and like I look through the debugger here and say like there's an error, and then I can say, hey, this error is happening, what should I do? And then it'll give me like a whole laundry list of like, well, you know, you should do some printing, you should do some debugging, and it's like, those are good, but then it's like, oh, well, it didn't work, and it's like, well, have you tried, like, get stuck of like, well, you should do the same thing that I told you, and it's like, yeah, I did. So now what? So get into this loop of like, you should fix this, and it's like, I did. Or it's like, Gemini is even like nice where it's like, hey, how about you send a picture of what you're doing? And it's like, just gonna get a little scared of that, where it's like I can send a picture of my whole screen, and then it can say, it looks like BKD is a nested element of your options. And it's like, no, it's a direct child. So then it's like, well, because, you know, the same like prompt, it'll be like, well, because it is a nested child, you should do XYZ. And it's like, then next time I talk to it, it's like, well, because it's nested, we should, you know, continue that logic of it. And it's like, no, stop, it's not. So it's like, I need to figure out how to tell it to like be correct. And it's never want to say no. That's what AI can never say no to you. Even when it's like, I messed up, you know, this is beyond help. I don't know what I'm doing. What should I do? And it's not like, it's hand-holdy enough to be like, it's okay. But then it's also like, yeah, you're gonna have to like redo stuff. Oh well. So that's been my experience. But otherwise, for 80% of the time, it's been okay enough to just kind of vibe AI check through it all. But yeah, definitely need to go through and do a clean sweep of everything that I have. My dad's in the room right now. Probably just ask him to help me here. He doesn't know GD script exactly, but at least he knows. Yeah, you want to talk on here? I'm streaming. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, a bunch of the code here has just been so... I don't know if it's spaghetti enough, but it's been so hard. Oh, yeah, my dad just restarted his computer. I don't know. I didn't have anything exactly in mind, but we'll just have to go through the entire everything. Yeah, what do you say to that?
Maybe tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's just a lot. Well, what do you think of the game so far? I think it is getting better. I added this game over screen a couple nights ago, and it actually reflects when you die. They were just saying hi to you. So when you get hit, there's actually some animation of the ball getting smaller. So that's
great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you proud of me?
Does the ball slowly get bigger, or only when you hit a thing? Or a level up or something.
I do have animations where I was gonna try and pause it there. So Derpy Ball has like several different animation bips in here. So if I select that animation, I have like all of these where I kind of got it where the same as the UI version where it should. Well, what's supposed to happen is that the UI version is supposed to have a little tiny ball and then it grows, but I don't quite have that. So I just kind of have it as just like an instant like animation of her going boop boop, and then the ball gets bigger based on how much health you have then. So then this is essentially like 2 to 3 health, and this is like 1 to 2. So it's just an animation of that.
Yeah, it looks good.
And then different heads to be like of what sizes, and then those are coded in. But what's supposed to happen is the score label is that there's also these. The problem is that this was working earlier, and now it's not. So I got all of these where it's like you got the health 3, and then like a health 2 where like you get hit and then that ball goes away, and then there's a recharge of that one. So over time, the ball slowly gets bigger. And so this is the only progressive, like, actually animation tween that's going on. And then once this gets to the end and, like, pretty much fills that up, then it does the other animation where it does the recharge fold 3. And then it goes, just go boop boop to have all of them kind of bounce. And so that's the same thing with the other ones too. Where
what you'll have to test is, like, what happens when Derpy hits something while it's recharging. Is it going to handle the animation of the health bar correctly?
Okay. Because it's hard to tell. Like, I don't know if it's like a. So what do we got? We got the score timer, score label, and then hello. I changed all this last night, Lily, to now be match game measure health score, and health score is just an integer of 1 to 3. And then it should just play to health 3 if health score is 3, then play this, and then if it's 2, then play this. But I think some of this isn't working, so we'll have to go through and make sure that where the stoppage point is. Because what happened is that I changed like the timers from like this big number to like 5 to make it faster for testing, because I don't want to wait 40 seconds to see if it works. So I changed those back, and then there's all. I mean, this is everywhere. Yeah, we'll have to go through every line here.
It's very organized. Your code is very organized.
He says it's organized. So thank you. It just feels like it's everywhere just because it's been... The game manager takes care of like most of everything, but then it's hard to tell whether or not that's where's the leak, or what's stopping it from happening. So I think Dad's sat down, so bye guy. Bye Dad. So yeah, it's going, but there's still so much. It's just a pain when it's like it was working and then you add something more to it and then like the rest of it breaks. The thing that was working before, the first thing, then broke. So, and then I don't think the recharge on Derpy works either. So, to ever actually have the animation ever when the ball regains size, I don't think that works. So, a lot of this is yeah. I tried to ask the AI to be like, can you simplify the code? And so that's where this came in. This was a mess. It had a bunch of like, if the health score is not this and something else, then do this with the timer. If the timer is also stopped, then do the recharge and ors. So this is a little better, but it's still not doing this. It can print this out like a health UI is 3, but then if it get hit, it does not play this. So somewhere in the middle it gets stuck where it's not actually playing it. So yeah. And that's just for the score label. And then there's also the Derpy. That's for the particles. This is the Derpy's code here. So whatever reason the hits here work, where all of this, where the current health equals your last is more than current health. If current health is less than last known health, and last known health is what? Your current health. So this is like the AI stuff of like, well, you should have, you should know what your last known health is, and then make that your current health. And then if your current health is less than your current health, I don't know where all that's defined then. So that might be a logic. But sometimes these logic things get so into a loop that then it actually reverts back to working. It's like 2 knots make a right, and it's like, what? So, maybe, because that's just, I don't know. I wanted today to just work on the animation. So we're going to work on the cutscene today. So we're going to jump over to that now. Because what happens is I do have a splash screen, but I want a cutscene to happen as well. And I figured out that you can import video files, but not MP4s, not MOVs. You gotta have .ogv. Yeah, you guys ever heard of OGV? That's Ohio, Georgia, Virginia. OGV. I never heard of it. When I was doing Sunny's Dream, the audio needed to be OGG. And it's like, I never heard of that. Like, why do all these game design things need these weird file formats? It's like, I can import PNGs. Why don't I not have to do, WebPs? What's up with that? So, I just turned on the video streamer to show that when you go to the credits. It'll now show that you can import video, and it works pretty well. This is just because it's a vertical video. It's just tilted. But yeah, the quality works pretty well. So I was scared that, the video frames or like, just look like a really low quality GIF or something, but this looks pretty good. It's animated well enough, real time enough. But yeah. What I also have is main menu. I have a splash screen. It's this one. It's basically just that, and then it just has an animation of it kind of dissolving. So the game will look like this on startup, and then it'll automatically after 3 seconds fade out into the game. And it can also quit it faster, like when restart and then immediately say skip, then it can skip fast. So in case you don't want to waste your 3 seconds on the splash screen there, you can skip it. But what I want to have in between is a video cutscene, and so let's make sure that the video itself worked in the file format, because that's always good. You always want to check to see if you can import something. If you ever get a new application, software, whatever, creative stuff, whatever it is, make sure you can save it and export it before you work on anything. You know, before you make your masterpiece. I highly, strongly, you know, everything recommends to make sure you can go through the process of just saving a file and exporting it into whatever and opening it, seeing how it works. Because if it doesn't, you know, if it doesn't work on exporting, you know, basically nothing, then you could have problems. So that's why I made sure that the what you saw with the credits, that there was a video. There's an invisible video for whatever reason here, but I think the audio also works too, so that's nice. That it, I was scared that I had to have a video and then be like, oh no, I have to sync my audio to the video if I wanted to. So yeah, it's also this. Oh, okay. Milliseconds. I was like, what's an MSEC? MSCC? The amount of time a millisecond is stored before buffering. 500. That's about half a second? Okay. Could fix this in one of these, but whatever. That's how I figured out the music and sound effects, is that you had to click on one of these and select it. I had to make these custom with the audio channels. So with those option sliders, those are talking to this custom music one or the sound effect custom one. And then I had to make sure that whenever I import a new sound effect or whatever, that I had to select which bus it goes on. Yeah, a little silly. Let's try to close something I wanted to have open. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's go on to the cutscene, because I want to work on that. Probably only have enough time to like storyboard it, but that's fine. Here's that thumbnail of today. I have, so in Toon Boom I exported like all the artwork, and then in here I laid them out to be more exact with the position of it. So I don't need, it is just gonna render these. But here's all the hats and nice grid. And then there's different types of the shop ones display, and then these are the ones that I was talking about where Derpy has to have her ear, whether or not it's above here or not. So these are just graphics to make sure that the ear was placed on top correctly. But I have all these sorts of stuff and all these different scenes here with everything, with all the different graphics. So I drew all the graphics in Toon Boom, exported each individual picture 1000 by 1000, and then aligned them to then fit on these grids basically. So they're all different size grids, but Flash does allow you to have different scenes with different resolutions. So that's why I got some notes to say this is what this size is for everything. So here's a better picture of the pear sprite. So this would be a 2000 by 3000 file here with all the different frames basically, and then I can change what frame it is in code during the animation player. Here is the tiniest graphic I've made. This is a circle. It's a 15 by 15 pixel size circle. Guess where this goes? Yeah. Here's the icons that I made. Didn't use all these, just because I wasn't sure whether I wanted to have like the tutorial be like a book, or maybe like a question mark, like some sort of help or something. Like this book can be like on the main menu graphics, but this help can be like during the level or something. And then changing your language from pictograms to letters. So, worked fairly hard on these. Mostly. The gears was fun to figure out. It's not quite perfect, but gets the job hopefully done there. Question mark for even the, like the main level layouts, like the main menu or layout. Let's go to like a pause screen. So I can change one of these frames here. Options, text under options, nope, UI options. Gotta remember how I set this up. So I can go to the frames here and then change them to be any of them. So we got that in a wide box. I guess it is does look a little better than this. Probably because it ends in a point and it kind of looks weird. I understand. Maybe it needs some, maybe we could have like a question mark here or something on one of the pages. Or maybe a question mark here on the right side to like add that. I don't know. Yeah, if I wanted to add that, I would probably do some editing like that. Anyway. That is a, yeah, good point. It was a UI grabber. So this 15 pixel wide shape here is actually the UI grabber in the options. I changed it to make it a little bigger. But yeah, it has a icon, I think. It uses this picture icon here. Problem is that it can't really, I could probably like rescale it smaller and then somehow resize it bigger in a different way. Because I noticed that, you know, if you make one of these, you know, the regular size might be smaller, but then if you try to make it bigger by literally making it bigger, then the scale pixel quality actually changes. It's like it's relative or something. So you gotta make the font size bigger. So this is why this is a little blurry, because it's actually supposed to be some other size, I think. Yeah, I made it 4 times bigger. So this is the pixel perfect version of it. So I need to figure out a way to make it bigger without using scale. Like this layout scale. I need to find a different way to make it bigger. But like, there's no other scale things here. So it's like, how do I just go through all these and change the size, you know, of it? But this X and Y position size, like that's just literally just making it longer and taller, but it's not actually changing the anything else about it. Like that's actually just moving it some other way. So it's like, I don't know, whatever. It's just gonna be big and blurry. But then the ball slider here was even more blurry, so I'm trying to add the icon to make it a little better, but still it's like, ugh. So, oh well. It's just a slider. I'm not gonna try and make it too pretty, I guess, unless I can figure out how to scale it without scaling it in a different axis dimension. I don't know. So try to see if that would work. Let's go to a cutscene. So what will happen is Derpy delivers a package or something to the Yeti, but then she trips and falls, and then she becomes a snowball. Because I did have that somewhat in the... Actually, not vertical, other way. Trying to set it so it's regular widescreen. Turn one of these off. Turn them off. I do have a storyboard. What if that's the storyboard? What are you? Oh, this is storyboard for the original version, I think. Might be in design or something. Let's see if it's in here. Yeah, I think this is it then. So here's a cutscene. So the original version was just kind of like her delivering letter and then tripping over a rock or something. Or maybe she was like, what is this danger sign of falling? What is that? She wants to like take a closer look at the sign, but there's a rock right in front of her, so she's like, what? And then walks and then trips on the rock in front and then spins out. So I'm trying to tie it back to like the Yeti episode video. Did find the original Flash animation of it. I was gonna try to figure out what I want to recreate, because that's what I have to do. If I animated this in Toon Boom, I don't have the Yeti puppet character, so I'd have to either recreate the entire puppet of the Yeti character and then spend time animating it in here, or because I already have the Yeti in here with its full already animatable character puppet with all its bits and pieces here, might as well just animate it in Flash, even though it'd be nice to animate in Toon Boom, but just because everything's here and I don't want to spend more time than I already have with this whole project. Just gonna take the road of least resistance and just animate it in here. So that's where we're gonna apparently start a little while into the stream. Start now into this. So let's see. So as we are done, and then we can have a start here. I'm thinking I do want it to be. Did I ever say? Not really. I think I want this to be widescreen, even more widescreen than it already technically is. So we'll just make this. Let's see how like wide then I can get it, and then I can figure out what the pixel size is after that. What do you call this? Widescreen crop or something? Red squid. Phone version landscape, yes. For my own sake and to make sure that I don't go insane trying to make two versions, portrait and landscape version of it. It'll be. Does this work? I should flip this one upside down. As you can see, I flipped it upside down. And so now, if I do that, yeah, I think it's have another. It is. Oh, it's flipping it that way. Oh, I need to do 8. There we go. I had a different shortcut that I'm used to. Okay. Anyway. That's widescreen enough. Yeah, so I wasn't gonna do a landscape version of the whole game and a portrait version of the whole game. I was just gonna have it be landscape for both. Yeah. I'm already, you know, overstressed myself trying to do 2 versions anyway. So. Great. Yeah. That would affect the intro cutscene. It would at least crop it, and then I don't know if I can, like in Godot, say somewhere if OS or, you know, if I'm exporting package to X device, you know. Because with this, I can like export, actually, export would be better button here. So I could do this and then somehow maybe in the code say all this to say if Windows desktop version versus Android version versus HTML version versus one of these, and then have code for every thing that could change. I was like, no, man. But even then, you wouldn't want the game play to be portrait because it's a side scroller. Can you imagine this being like this wide? Like one of those Game Boy kind of like super zoomed in. Wasn't like Donkey Kong Country Game Boy like super zoomed in? Like some of the Marios were like weirdly tight. They're like a lot of early handheld games were like screen crunched, that the character was like super huge, but then like the real estate of the whole game, as you were trying to do like a platformer 2D side scroller or something, you couldn't see anything. So like trying to do like Sonic, but you only get like half the widescreen, and it's like, wait a minute. So you just run into everything too fast. Just because the pixel size of those little devices weren't high resolution enough to have a smaller character on screen, basically. Or wouldn't be that recognizable that looked like a Atari 2600 kind of style. 4-bit or something. Yeah. GBA remakes tend to be super zoomed. Yeah. Was it like the worst remake or something, port or something, like was the Sonic GBA version? And it was like a 20th anniversary, or was it like 15th or something? Like some anniversary. And it was like, yeah, look, we got the Sonic on and the Nintendo now. And here's your really zoomed in, cropped in Sonic remake. It was like Sonic 1 GBA. Just want to see what the aspect ratio of like character to screen. It was just so zoomed in. That might be it. That looks like the Genesis version. But yeah, it's notorious for being like one of the worst ports of not just Sonic in general. Yeah. Man, it's 2006. Oh boy. But yeah, like the size of it, and like you're trying to run, and it's like how much reaction time do you have? It's like fish being like on here to be like zoop, you know, rather than being like the widescreen version, whereas like you can see more. Show me the gameplay. I'm just seeing the title screen. Oh yeah, that makes a difference when it's a widescreen. With this, check that out. How much more screen real estate to be like, oh look, here's something coming, and then it's like the Game Boy was like just like to here. And now with the widescreen, you can see most of it. So that's why most of the mobile games in landscape version are like 3D, where you're going into the screen. So what's the... Is it Sonic Dash or something? Sonic Jump? Because there's Mario Run, and then there's Sonic Jump. Oh, that looks like a regular platformer, but it's like one of those vertical platformers? Is this real? It's one of those... I don't know what the original version of this game is called, but yeah, it's... You, jump on platforms vertically, and you just kind of keep scrolling up, I guess. There's another one where you're 3D, and you're just... It must be the Dash one, I think. Yeah. So this one is a phone game where it's 3D, and you're just behind him, third person right behind him, and then you can see things in the distance above, and then it scrolls down. I did have at one point, I was thinking I wanted to do something like this, where it'd be I guess it would have to be 3D, but like it would be kind of scrolling stuff downward, and then you would jump over it. At this point, I'm just kind of married now that I have to do the side scrolling here, left to right. I was thinking of like having that be like an extra version or like an extra mode to be like that 3D version or something, but if I can't even do this, then duh. We'll just stick to this for now. So yeah. Anyway. With this cutscene as well, I wanted to sort of do it in this way so I can cheat by having the... I can squeeze in the video resolution by making it shorter, and then I would have a smaller video file size, basically. By literally rendering the cutscene video shorter, and then in Cintiq, you can make in Godot, you can make the video sizes bigger, but you can't make them smaller for whatever reason. So if I make this like 720 and then scrunch down to like 600 or something, that'll be way less of a file size for you to download, and it's gonna be like the first second thing you get to see, so I don't want it to be this huge 4K ray tracing, you know, video right off the bat. I was also thinking, like, can I just animate this inside of Godot and actually have it be the and have it be real time, basically, to have this kind of cutscene. But I don't think that's gonna not work. Too low either. So we'll just have some sort of background here with the cave, and then that'll be like the slope there. I was thinking, does Yeti need a post box, or because I don't know how legal it is for can anyone just get it, or just did it have to be registered in some legal sense here or something? I don't know. There's a little mailbox. Just gonna squish it a little small. Ugh. There you go. Oh yeah, and everything's in snow. So let's put a little snow on everything. Okay. A little sun maybe somewhere. And then the mountains. And then let's push this all a little wider. Okay. So that's a basic background. And then I can make the characters darker to have them stand out. Okay. So we'll just have a couple frames here to work with. So we will have Derpy fly in, do a mailbox. Yeti comes out, says, "Yay, thank you." And then as she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you betcha." And then she could like walk backwards and then trip on a rock, which we need a rock for. So we need that rock. Let's delete some of this around it to make it stand out, just for me. So apparently I just have a rock there. I guess I can plop it back into here. Okay. So this will be... okay. And then this will be Derpy. And then we need Yeti. And then that's about it. Okay. So we'll do that. Start working on that. Okay. I was also concerned that the derpy design of this will be kind of like baked in, essentially, where should only have like one hat design. So if you chose a different hat or something, then that won't really work. Otherwise I have to make, you know, like 20 different versions of the cutscene based on what hat you got. Because it could be like could even be the robot head one, you know? It would cover her full face. So, I don't know. It's probably not worth it to... Don't worry about that. Consistency, whatever, that then, you know, she's either wearing a hat here or then not, I guess, later on. Because essentially she'll be here, and then the cutscene of this will end, and then it'll go to the main menu, and then the main menu will then look like this. Or I'll change this, if I can click it, to then be here now wearing the hat you chose. So I don't know how tricky it would be to have, because I could do like a tracking thing, like a rotoscope After Effects style tracking thing to be like of this video, you know, just have this be a baked video, but then on top of it have a new element that then has the animation of hat, and then have this be its own element on top of the video inside of Godot, and then animate it to then follow exactly where Derpy is, and this will be a magic element box where this can then be controlled with the frames to then change what hat it is. Or we just, you know, forget it, and then there's only one. There's no hat. The hat never existed. There is no hat. Yeah. So just kind of start it here, and then I just like to put all my keyframes basically in, and then time it later. Oh, it could be a comic. Oh, it's be easier. And then a comic could have that. The closest thing that I was thinking of to like have a comic would be the tutorial, where I wanted like super golden books style, super even more chibi of the characters doing a doing duty explanations of the game. To explain all the controls and such. And then that would be in certain different different pictures, and sort of like a comic with that, but like having add a new thing here. Essentially just having this, and then you'll have the game, and then you'll have the ball and all the stats, and then some sort of like text here, I guess, to then explain it, and then having to like have like the jump, then it could show the controls or something to be like, you can use a keyboard or a mouse or your thumb. And then there'll be different ways to then show that if you click here, or your spacebar, or your enter, then that'll make Derpy jump. And then try to explain that in different pictures for all the different explanations of stuff of like what is a bit, what is a shopping, what is all these different mechanics, you know. Try to think of if my mom played it for the first time, what would she need to know, you know. Super basic stuff, I guess. Something like that. That is a good idea. That would kind of be as an animator, you know, from one animator to another, I think I want to show that I can do animations. At least have the first impressions be a video. And this won't be too hard. I say that now, but at least this part should be easier than whatever coding adventure I was doing. These last couple months. This is my element. I could just do this and whip this out in like a day or two. Just to get the letter. I was also thinking, like, would people try and figure out what the letter is or who the letter's from? But a lot of this has been just because I didn't really have this as an idea of it being Yeti until like literally like this week, I think. So I was like, oh yeah, I need to add like context. I mean, most about the context was just kind of like just her delivering a letter and then having something silly happen. But then, like, this house wasn't really anyone's. And then, who is this danger thing, you know? It's like, it's just enough to be like, I guess this is her at the top of a hill and why she falls down. But, at least this'll set her up to be, you know, if you don't know this character, then it's like, oh yeah, she's a male mare. And then delivering a letter, trying to set everything up. Not that the other one didn't, but at least you can kind of get more context of the whole situation of everything to be like, oh, she's delivering a letter to, and then Yeti can come out and say hi. So, yeah. Derpy can't be not cute. Their genes to be adorable. Wherever that. And then oh, she got deleted. Okay. Can I do this another way? Probably. I don't know. Don't care at this point. Sure, R would just be get it into the position to grab it and then close it. I've seen, I know I've done this a million times with this kind of animation for delivering a letter, so I'm not worried about this being too tricky. It's kind of hard to just draw in a storyboard fashion, actually. The only thing now I can think of is that just trying to get her from being here to then being on the ground. But I guess she can just be... She could be on... She could do this as like a big hop. Yeah, she would be flying. Like she'd be on the ground here and then jump up and then put the letter in. And then at least keep her grounded. Or she could just kind of drop down for whatever reason. I don't know. So it is a little weird to then have it just go boop, and then have the Yeti here. Show up. That's kind of feels a little low. What does he look like? Okay. Maybe a little bit more. What does he have? He's got a little nose and that. Maybe just like a weird smirk. Oh, he's got to do the thumbs up. That's like his whole thing. And then you can like pop out a little more, and then give a little like yeah, or maybe he just kind of keeps his mouth closed. And then we'll place this with a is that right? I'm gonna make it his right hand, so it'll be on the other side. Yeah. Like yeah. Something like that. Okay. Or let's see. Or Derpy can stay in the air, and then Derpy's like, "Oh, thank you," and then falls to the ground there. And then walks backwards into the rock. Get a little bashful or something. Like, ooh, okay. Thank you for the thumbs up, hee. And then doesn't look behind her as you. I don't know where this is going. I don't know. We're gonna do implications here. So we will separate that, and then new frame here. Let's change expression just a little bit. I'm gonna change a bunch of this. So we will kind of like put our maybe like some sort of like weird like a there you go, like a and then all that, yeah, like a and like scratching back your head or something. Like a especially make that longer. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. Bop, 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 boop, 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 boop. Yeah. And then replace that expression on the ground. And then have her slowly walk backwards. Actually, we only have one leg there. And then we can like kind of like just kind of be like, yeah. Welcome SCP. I'm getting the gist that you like my animation and that it's pretty. Thank you. Gracias. That's just hopefully as far as I got in Spanish one. Boop boop beep boop beep boop 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 beep boop beep boop 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 beep boop 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 ba doop boop 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 doop boop 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 ba doop boop. And then maybe I should move the rock down a little bit. It's here. If I select only that, I should be able to just pop pop. Get up. A little larger. That's a big rock, but that's how it goes. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's one of the rules. Sorry, SCP. That's okay. But yeah, from now on, please try and either translate it yourself or use Google Translate or something to figure that out. Thank you. And then we'll have her kind of like stop. Mid-walk here. And then she'll be like... Ponk. Oh. Bonk. Into there. And then flies up. Gotta like twist my head. Bonk. Whoa. And then we'll just do the impact over here. I think I can draw this expression upside down. Nope, I cannot. Okay, it'll be a big oofy. Which way? Clockwise into... and then basically just off screen for the rest of it. Okay, that's Derpy figured out. And then Yeti. Like having some sort of other animation of them. Kind of like looking more towards her on the ground. Guess I could be here. And then having him having a some sort of up expression. Maybe like shorter. Maybe like a little up or down. Like, oh. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Oh. And then that's the end. And then this will like fade out to a black fade out into the game, I guess. And then fade into the game, which yeah. So Over Horizon is a YouTube member, and so Over can use a bunch of custom emojis. I think there's like 6 or so. I have to check. How do I do that? Oh, I got 4. Okay. Yeah. Got these custom Yoshi Greenwater channel member exclusive emojis. So if you support me as a joined YouTube member, then you can get these ones. And you can react like Over. And get the little Yeti one. I can do it too. Just because I'm the creator. But yeah. Support me on my YouTube channel. You can get that and a couple other perks. Yeah. Exclusive stuff. Okay. And this will become the game. Let's see. I think there's actually a couple more on Discord, yeah. But if you want to do it on the YouTube chat, then that's the way to do it here. So this is just the what I want the title screen to look like, where it'll be all your options, your play. I can draw a triangle. I can't draw a triangle today. Goes at an angle, right? Your options, and then your shop, and then your quit, and then your credits. Trying to figure out like what kind of design, but I guess this can be like a this could be like a perspective shot. Ooh, that'd be cool. Where it'd be like something like that. And then just over over the horizon can then be the little mantle thing here. And then this can be the Yeti. Can then be in the title screen, I guess. I think my brush is a little thick here. Too zoomed in. Yeah. Get a little action lines or something. Uh-oh. Oh, you could use the, are you saying the YouTube, like the ones I just showed, the YouTube ones, Like these ones can't be used in like in any YouTube stream. I think that's kind of how Twitch emote works, right? I haven't been on Twitch much. Get rid of that part, and now it's less pig. Yeah. Oh. There. Okay. That's that. Okay. And then somewhere around here would have to be the... We know horizon, right? Is it a cloud, maybe? Okay. Something like that. I'm sure to add little tiny more details here or something. Yeah. So it'd be like the title screen, and then she could like blink or something and look around, I guess. One of my original ideas was that I guess I could still do it in this one, is that, I explained this a couple times, is that I wanted to where if your mouse is here, then she could like look up and be like, oh, or you know, go over here. Have it so like it's focused to where you're looking. Which would mean that she kind of gets her hat on the title screen, and then everything else kind of works. But until then, like, I guess I could just have her not wear a hat at all, and then, or just use the default hat, and then if you unlock any of the other ones, then it's like, you've gotten so far that it's like, I don't know, don't need it. Yeah. Let's see. It happened because Derpy fell on the mountain. Yeah, we got the story where Derpy's trying to deliver a letter, but then trips on a rock, and then that's how she rolls down the hill. Oh, I wanted to add I want an extra shot to show the scale of everything. And then that'll cut out. So this will be like the one more scene. Thanks for reminding me. Is that go away? I want to draw up there. Okay. Basically it'll be the mountain, and then it'll just be just how big it is. And then you can see like other big mountains over here, and then the sun, and then whole cloud systems, and then this can just be whatever. This be like the ground, I guess. But you like put the trees or something here or something. I like all the obstacles that are there. And then on the derpy layer, we can just have her be the tiniest dot to show the scale. Derpy Burns. I've done a lot of like big hill ones, exactly. Yeah, that's why I want to do it here too, just because she doesn't do a big hill like this on in the Yeti episode, so we're just kind of combining this big hill with that. So yeah, she'd be like, blah, 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 blah. And then, I don't know, it's a less extreme version of the Simpsons Homer falling down the gorge. You're like, oh, oof, ow, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then tile screen here. To fade into here. Oof. I'm kind of tired already. Okay. We can lay this out with the characters, I think, and then see if there's anything else that we can do here. So we got the Yeti. So we can put Yeti in. So this will be Yeti storyboard, Derpy storyboard, background, storyboard. Put these into a group. Call this the storyboard group. Yeah, so now I can hide everything from there. Collapse that. Put a new one outside of the group, please. There you go. And then recreate it with the real characters. Ugh. Ugh. This is weirdly nostalgic for me to do it in Flash after doing Toon Boom for so much and for so many videos. It's kind of nice to just go back to Flash and just animate. As I've, you know, been kind of self-taught with all this. My dad helped me with very, very basic stuff in the very beginning, but, you know, I've kind of got a little bit more advanced than anything he's ever done. And most of the Flash stuff that my dad's done is more on the kind of programming side as well, whereas it's like having in a video game, having a character and then having different states and then programming those in a game engine. So not quite just full on animating the actual character, but more so just trying to make the characters work in a game version, a Flash game. Okay, I want a Yeti. Bunk. So we can lock all that and rotate them back to 0, please. I never made a different angle of them, did I? This is what I was referencing with this is the original Flash project of the animation. You can kind of go through this is kind of fun. Trying to take a boundary baked version of this. Kind of zoom out a little bit. Yeah. You just watch it like this. It'll only take a minute and I can get some Gatorade here. So the square box defines where the video itself would stop, where those boundaries are. So kind of see like how much overdraw I do, whereas like expanding beyond the borders, and just how much goes on outside. Not too much in some of these, but see that gets a little complex in some of these shots. All these reflections are just copies of her, yeah. And then just kind of do that. Hopefully that works. Let's see. Do a little Star Wars. Yeah. So I think for some of these shots, like zoom out, I think it's a little weird looking. Or I think it's his whole body, yeah. But then all you see is just this, and then outside is all of this going on. Anything that you don't see, you know, outside, don't have to animate. And then give it an expression afterward. Oh yeah, this is Egg Yeti. I kind of do a weird approach where it's like, if I didn't need his head, so I just got rid of it. It's not like it's not like a video game where it's like you culling, C-U-L-L, where you cull it out, where you basically just delete objects that don't need to be rendered, or in a bigger like open world kind of video game, you want to make sure that your culling and like level of detail is small enough to be optimized enough that you get rid of things that aren't necessary for that particular scene that needs to be seen by the camera, basically the player camera. Stuff outside doesn't need to be figured out, rendered in there. So yeah, so it just has a a good time on the mountain. It doesn't roll down roll down the hill in this one. Let's see if I can get, actually I have a whole puppet scene. I was a little bit more organized back then, but especially with Flash it was easier to just have another scene. And then I even had a whole bunch of like deleted scenes where some of these were like animated a little bit differently or had different ideas, but I didn't want to delete the shots, so I changed some of these alternate versions, I guess. Ah. I don't know what all this was. I can't explain most of this. When it was this, I feel like this was like over 5 years ago. So, some more assets. Some of these are like just tests to see how the reflections would work. Here's another test reflection. That thumbnail. I forgot that I even put the Yeti back here. That was like, oh yeah, it's just Derpy. You just look at her the most and be like, oh look, what's that? But what I want is to take this, which I think will work or not, and we will see. To work with the other one that's in the thumbnail. Okay, so we got that. And we got the thumbnail version, which looks like this, but then we got the basic one that looks like this. And it looks like this is the older version. I have a newer version of this puppet, which I guess I could just put that in. Where I think, let's see. Oh, this one's not too bad. I have different angles of her hoof here to get different poses. I had a newer one where it was like a little ball here, and I was able to rotate her head a little easier. And then the problem is that this is one symbol, is her head. So if I wanted to move her eyes, I have to double click inside, and now I'm inside of her head. And so now I can actually select individual pieces. So it does make things a little tricky to just, you know, if you want to just either straight ahead animation or anything, you kind of can't, because you need to like go through here and move her head at one point, and then go along and then move her head down, and then do a fourth dimensional go through, and then change her eye position later in the timeline on this timeline version, which is a completely different timeline version from just the head, which is a completely different timeline from everything. So makes it a little bit more tricky to just animate. That's why I made a new version where she would be. I put the entire head, split it up, and like so I was able to just select the eyeball from this level. So I guess I could just see if I can just do that. See if I can open that file real quick, like should just be in here. Is it here? Nope, let's try this folder. So I have a bunch of different folders. I got, let's go Derpy Chippy Master. Okay, I can show that. So this is a newer version. within that one, and we just saw, yeah, here's a green ball, and it rotates her head. And I can select her wing, and I can select her eyeball. So the other one, I couldn't do that. So, ooh, I can move her eye here, and I can move her head with this. But with the other one, can't do that. So let's see if this will work. Okay. So I'm scared about this. I think I don't want to replace it. I think I'd sometimes just put it into a duplicate folder, and then this works. And keep it about the same scale. Doesn't really matter at this point. Do need the bag though. Let's grab the bag. And then put that new layer, pop it there. There's a whole rigging system to this now. Hi, so I think I need to go into here. Yeah, this was not in the other one. So let's see. Looks like the torso connects to a bunch of different things. The body itself folder doesn't do anything. But I think I need to, I forget how this works. We'll see. No, that makes it that. So I think I need to do parent to child to parent? Yeah, okay. So this is kind of like how Toon works, where you have these kind of weird noodles that then connect to different things based on child to parent systems. Where a simple one would be the face of a pair sprite is then child of the whole thing. Or for Derpy, get a little bit more complex the deeper you go in. But it's the same kind of thing where like you go inside of different symbol layers, and then you can select things. Here's the eyeballs. So this is just for the eyes. Let's see if I can get in here. So if I select their eyes, I should be able to just move them around. So rigged similar, but that's obviously, you can see where this becomes a lot more powerful to just be able to select anything at any time to your different symbol layers, I guess. And then select any part of this and move those around. Anyway. So I think I selected that there, so you can have that bag. So now if I move torso, everything that's all the children of torso should now move. It's a little harder to select it, so I'm just gonna. Yeah, nice. That wing back isn't. So let's do that. So now if I do torso and then move, everything moves. Yay. And same thing with the head parts. Everything's connected to the soul, and I think everything's just on a regular. There's no sub-children, stepchildren. I don't know. But yeah, it's at least lets me not have to worry about that. I can just hide that and then not worry about that anymore, and then just kind of go in and animate whatever I want now. Let's turn somebody's off, I think. Turn her hats off. I think that works. Okay. So you see, once you get this kind of set up in a system, then a lot of things come mostly quickly. It's still obviously, you know, hand animating everything. That's gonna take forever, but at least now it's rigged in a way where I don't have to worry about a lot of going in and outs. So, bye old Derpy. Don't need you. Okay. Is that real size? Is that a lower size? I just make it a little smaller. I think I made them kind of about that size. I think in the here it kind of had to be about right. So that goes up to Okay. See the ear next to this little part of the hair. Maybe actually a little smaller. About there. Okay. Needs to come out of the cave, so maybe it needs to be a little smaller than that. Maybe we want Derpy to be prominent. Just gonna make everything a little bigger. See, rotated. No, he's just kind of. Is he skewed? No, he's just kind of. He's got a weird posture. Let's get that background in, and then. Actually, I think I in the thumbnail. So I got a couple. Oh wow! I forgot I did it this way, where I had the background, and then I had different frames of it for the different mountain parts. So like the ascent of the mountain, there's just one symbol with different frames for the different. Because it was a little easier because like they all use the same sky background, mountain shapes. So it's just kind of taking what I had from the previous one and then moving it into there. Let's bring it back up. Get to flip it once I save it. Flip it. And we'll have to redesign this to be a little different. I had to squish it, smallify it. Try and get the cave entrance about the right size. And then we'll extend this part out, make it a new frame, just so I can deal with this a little more. Okay. There's the sky, there's some clouds. We can make these clouds smaller. It's kind of fit with this background now. Okay. So we can kind of adjust this. Figure out sizes the storyboard here, and then I guess this would have to be the new platform here. Probably get rid of a couple of these. Yeah, let's just make it flat. Okay. See if that makes it nicer background. Better than the other one. Oh yeah, this was the first, and now this is it. Okay. So I hide the storyboard. You have a nice background now. We'll add the mountains, I guess, but don't quite have those in this file, I don't think. At least they're a little different, so I'll have to grab it from here to kind of see what these look like. Because the problem is that I was thinking that it had to be consistent, so I might have to change the sky background too to be this color too. Because otherwise it's going to be weird to have this background not look the same in here. Yeah, we'll have to change this to this, which is a gradient, so that's fun. How do I do this? Because I just want How do I convert this into an RGB thing? So I got this with this color. So it needs to be a RGB instead. I could do, oh, I could do HSB though. That can work. I'm gonna put you over here, and then I'll just type in the numbers that I see here. So 230. Nope. 230. 232. No. What? 232. Okay. So that would, no. What? 190? No. 19. No. Well, okay. Here we go. 190. 232. Okay. So it's this one. 251. Okay, we're getting it. 255. Yeah. Okay. It's a linear gradient. So guess who has to do that again? Okay. Let's just select the top one here. It should be this one. 159. 73. 255. Okay. And then we'll just have it be that white on the other side. So that'll be it. Okay. So I got that. I guess who has to rotate this to be the right way around. Okay, so now we made the background that color. Looks like you got a tint, so I can tint it to be. Is that right? What do you look like? What do you color? Ugh. Click. Oh, open here. Base is just white, so I guess a little brighter. Okay, it's barely pink. I think I could do advanced and then do an alpha to bring it down. There you go. Okay, and the snow here, let's get that. Is that this color? Which will be kind of close. There you go. Okay. Good. And let's get that mailbox in. I probably have a mailbox from something else. I'm definitely, now that I'm just reusing Flash assets, I might as well just use a already rigged Flash mailbox for the here. Trying to remember which of them was pretty good and what's the name of the file that I had as well. I don't think this one had a mailbox, right? No. Okay. We'll do that later then. So it's gonna be hard to animate this then without a mailbox. I can look for just like 1 minute here. Cause I got a folder for all my old stuff, plus all of these. Big off. Does anyone know just real quick which one would have a mailbox in it? Cause look at all these. Night, Olympics, recurrent sleepover, Derpy test, turkey. It's weird when it's like, oh yeah, you know, I've done so many mailbox ones, and then it's like, find one, and it's like, Derpy delivery? I think that's Paper Mario 1 style. Let's get out of paper Derpy ones. Huh. We should go by, let's go by date instead of name. Okay. Father's Day. I have a bunch of Rickrolls. Why do I have? I have Rickroll V2. Did the Christmas? I don't think so. Promise that I also had a bunch of them that were just like delivering a package instead of putting it directly into a mailbox. So that is just go through all my videos. It's Derpy Life, Bake Off. Oh yeah, I had like, wow, I'm looking through all my old files and it's like, yeah, I didn't do that one. Oh well. Because I have one that's called The Checks in the Mail. I think it was a Weird Al song or something like that. I got your like storyboarding it and then like, I don't know what happened. Didn't quite go through it all. Oh well. Still time though. If you're coming up, look through trying to find a file that has a mailbox in it. And there's a lot less than I thought. Oh yeah, Genius or France, I also tried to do that. I just got so many of these. And it's like, why not? This is why I think, you know, it would be better to just separate some of these recurring assets into its own folder. Just never thought about it back then. Wouldn't think that I would have this many files to then, you know, have to figure this out. Parking short. Oh, wait, 2016? Jeez. Yeah, a lot of these are just packages, I think, which it doesn't just put it into a mailbox. Is the one I'm thinking of, what was the one? Emergency? No. I think I called it something else. Where she just falls down a hill. Hill, no. Roll. I have a bunch of rolls. I have a 2021 Rickroll video. Let's see what that looks like. Wow. Woo. Ah. Getting sick of all this. She's in a mail truck. This is what this one is. From... Apparently I saved it in 2021, but I don't think this is animated at that time. So, we'll move on. Let's see. Thank you. Ugh. Okay. We can try and time this out then. That'll be the next step. Let's do that. See if I can just push this away. So where is the Yeti? Where'd he go? Add him in here. Have him not exist until then. And then have him not exist here. And then Derpy doesn't exist here either. We'll use just a ball instead of the Derpy bottle here. And then here will be... don't really need this as the Flash file, so maybe I could just kind of copy paste these frames. Copy paste this frame into another scene, I think. So I got both here. So now I can go back here and then delete that. Because this will be just the cutscene frames. Okay. So hide everything else and then time out the animation. Otherwise it looks like this. So a little quick. Let's slow this down. Because I swear I've done this exact animation, so I just have to find what that was. And then might be able to just kind of recreate it. So this is in 24 FPS. So the game will be in 60. So obviously it's a little hard to animate in 60 FPS. Especially my character puppets are so stop motion-y. They're on so much held frames. That'd just be kind of weird to do 60 FPS version of that. You know what I mean? Try to imagine a stop motion movie in 60 FPS. Is anyone dumb enough to do that? Because that's not what you want. Maybe. No. Oh, first thing I see is AI-powered DAN neutral network can boost stop motion footage. Oh, boosting stop motion to 60 FPS using AI. God, no, please. There's an app apparently. Like it got close. I mean, if you just do it on ones, then that'll make it look real good. 'Cause that's kind of the difference, is whether or not you do it on twos or ones, is how stop motion will look then. God. Is there any videos we can... I'll keep this in mind. Yeah, what does Leica use then? If I can look that up. How do you spell it? Frame rate? Yeah, still 24. Well, if 24 frames a second, and then whether or not they change the character puppets, whatever, in those 24 frames, you know, if they do a change per every single frame, then that'll make it more smooth. But I don't think anyone's crazy enough to actually stop motion at 60 frames a second. Just doing 24, like how many frames it takes to just do 1 second. Like this is 1 second, it's just here. But 1/1000. So you can still get a lot of mileage in 24 frames. So not hurry myself to be like, oh, I gotta make this animation 60 to match the rest of the game. And I'll give it kind of like that, not really FMB, but like that kind of, you kind of get that soap opera effect when you get that higher resolution, or frame rate, rather, anyway. It just kind of feels weird. Do you ever get that feeling like when there was like a couple years ago, there was like some anniversary or something, some big thing with the Beauty and the Beast Disney movie, where they had like a musical taping of it, and the beginning of it was outside, and it was like at 24 frames a second or something, and then the Belle actor's singer was singing outside, and then all this stuff was happening, and it's like felt very, you know, unfluid, I don't know, kind of static, but just kind of like that, kind of like lower frame rates. And then halfway through the song, the opening number, they kind of had this weird cut, and then they transitioned into a soundstage, basically inside. So it went from outside to inside, and then it's like she was really walked into the studio and kept singing, but it was like obviously it was in 2 takes, you know, on completely different days or something, you know, for the for that live recording of it, or live taping of the Beauty and the Beast. But I just remember just watching it and being like, when she transitioned like into the studio, I was like, whoa. Exactly, so they used different cameras and probably different frame rates or something, where the inside camera was like 30 FPS or 29.987 or something. But it was just like the most jarring thing ever. And I couldn't explain it to my parents to be like, why, whoa, what's going on? Like, it just took me so much out of it to be like, whoa, you know. If they did the whole, they could have done the whole thing outside and then cut, and then, I don't know, some host can then be just have them stay still in the inside studio and be like, hey everyone, how you doing? And then everyone kind of come in later. But Disney wanted to be like, yeah, look at us, we can do a weird hard cut into a studio from a different camera, a different frame rate, and then hope that you don't get this disorganized. Hope you don't pick up on that inconsistency. Yeah. Hitting everything. Outdoor cameras need to be lighter, smaller, so they can be captured for different zoom quality. Yeah, it's a different, like, aperture and ISOs and all these different, like, techie camera stuff that outside definitely needed some difference. It's more TLC to get outside footage to look good. Which is weird and kind of ironic, because then you have natural light to kind of balance it out with the sunlight. Don't need to add like 50 lights in different directions to get a good balanced light, you know, just film outside. And it's like, yeah, you kind of direct it a little bit, but you get your own natural, you know, recreating the natural lighting with natural light. But yeah, the sensors inside the camera are probably wired different, or to make it look good, you have to set up all these settings. But if those settings mean, yeah, you lose certain frame rates or something else about it. It was just so weird. I bet I could find it, but yeah, it was just probably get you know, copyright ID and back and forth with that. But at least I can probably link it to you instead if I can find it. I'll just I can't spell live, not live action. There's like a live musical, but not like the musical live picture of it. It was like a, I don't know, ABC, they probably did it. Yeah, like a 30th anniversary. She's 30 years of, because I could have saw it. I don't think I watched it like in the mid 2000s. There was like some re-release of that sometime. Behind the music. It's definitely the 30th, I think. So yeah, look up that. I can't find the exact video, but yeah, it was just so weird. Of like, why are you doing this to me? Why am I being subjected to your jarring film quality change? And it's like, can they help it? And it's like, what would they have to do to make it? They could make the studio one the same sort of settings, or at least not try and do it at 29 frames a second and just have it be the same frame rate and then balance it out, I guess. But yeah, it's like you want the highest frame rate possible for anything, but if your camera that's suited for outside can only do 24, then you might as well just make the whole video 24. Now, it doesn't make sense to change your frame rate halfway through, especially halfway through a musical number where it's like everyone's singing and dancing, and then it's like ah, and then blomp, now you get a different quality change. Yeah, it's just so weird. But yeah, so that's why I'm like, do I want to do something like that in my game now, where it's like, oh, we'll just have a, you know, a lower frame rate here for the characters and their kind of character animation, and then in the game will it be smooth? So I don't know how, if that'll be the same kind of weird jarring effect, where it's like, oh well, I could try and make this in 60 with this cutscene, but do I want to animate it in 60? 60 is about like 2 and less than a half times faster, or more frames. So like, you know, math that out anyway. Twice is 48, and then to get to 60, because 24 times 3 is 72 or something. So it's like 2.5-ish. The problem is that it's not 2.5. So not only are you having to like do it twice as fast and a little bit more, so it's not quite even to just do that. So if I was used to 30 FPS or something, then I would just have to do everything twice as slow, I think, to accommodate for that speed change, because it's got faster, because you're adding more frames to it. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just kind of used to this. I'm just kind of getting the frame rate of getting these kind of keyframes in here pretty good. Obviously don't want this to be too long, because then I also have to do the music as well. Try to time that out. Probably needs more time here for him to kind of go whoop whoop. Kind of have him appear more. Let's pull up another keyframe of him here. I was gonna do this earlier where I can try and cut them off at the hole here. Sounds a little easier when you get the whole shape out. There you go. Okay. Oops. We'll finish setting these times out, and then we'll call it good for today. Don't think I'll have enough energy to also be like, okay, let's talk and animate through all this, you know. I think I probably have some other streams. I definitely had like some 2015 streams where I actually animated. I usually only get this far, don't I, with streams, where I just kind of get it storyboarded and then be like, okay, I guess I'll just animate it actually on my own. Which is still fine, but I guess just for your experiences. I don't know if it's kind of somewhat clickbait to be like, I'm gonna animate this, and then I get this far, you know? Yeah, I hope you don't mind. Because this is kind of like the groundwork anyway, so I'm just kind of have to spend time to make sure that this works, you know, in all aspects, and trying to figure out the ideas. So this is more important to make sure that I get this right than anything else as to move forward. Yeah, it's too quick. I just know that my real animation is not that fast. I'll have to, my walk cycle that I usually use is usually about it's about, I think it's like 1 or 2 steps per second. So, it's gonna be too many steps. I know that this will be a lot longer. Knowing how many steps it'll be. So like 1, 2, 3. Yeah. This might just be even slower. Or I have to move the rock closer or something. Bonk. And then for comedic effect, this will be way faster. Just one. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And then this can also be fast, maybe like about that fast. Again, I usually make these too fast, because this already feels really fast to me, but just for the kinetic energy of all this, feels good to have this be pretty quick, but I know that I need more, because you gotta have enough space between each of these, like especially here, to make sure that you have a frame somewhere in the middle of these two. So maybe I need on twos, I would need a couple more, so I might need to accommodate for that by making these here slower. To essentially be able to add like maybe two keyframes in between all that. It's like some of these might need to slow these down as well. So just do it in action. But essentially here to here isn't much. So I could probably do that faster. And then from here to here isn't much. So I can make that faster. But from here to here, this might be slower. And then I want to show that she has a letter. And then here to here isn't too much. So you kind of like see what the difference is. If it's like really small, then you can do it faster. But if it's a little larger of a change, then it's gonna be a little faster. If I said that right. Small movement, less time. Big movement, big time. Yeah. So more slower there, and then fast. And then some of this is fast with the Yeti. So I know that I want to add like maybe like a couple more frames here, so I can add more frames there. And I'm just saying like I want more keyframes to be able to do those actions actually and time those out right. It feels like a lot, but I'll probably add like in-betweens. 1 or 2 of them. So I can add an in-between here and an in-between here. Like those two. And then that'll space those out a little better. So it seems kind of not fluid, but once I add those in-betweens, then that'll smooth out the motion. So what I can do is add just a little bit, just to have this. I was gonna add like the fade in, so let's add just this whole black. See if I could just steal this black into the background. And then it fades up into there, but I actually need more time. I wanted to actually start the animation before she gets into frame. So we'll add like a half second there, a little longer here, and then she gets in. Let's do a half second here, and then like another half second here, so the Derpy actually shows up like a whole second into the animation like that. And then, yeah. Okay. Okay. Now we only got like this much going on, but it's actually much more done now than you think. Now that I got this settled enough with the storyboards, then I can just move the character and be like, oh, and then she does an expression, and then change it, and then now she's here, and then move her down, and then change the expression, and now not to worry about too much else. Like, this will be what I'll do, you know, for the animation. And then, so work on an animation, and then get the whole video done, and then add music. We'll write up in MuseScore some sort of score, put that probably into Premiere to combine both of those elements, probably add sound effects, and then bring, what if I can in Premiere make a, what is it, OGV? An OGV file, see if Premiere can do that, and then export that, and then bring that into Godot, and have that as a video in the, like the credits had. So to be able to play the video like this inside of the game, to be able to do a video. I think this also plays the audio too, I just muted it, so yeah, that's all I gotta do. This is the easy part. This is what I know. This is no brainer. It's just all of this. All of this I have to go through, and I guess my dad will be able to look through this all tomorrow, I guess. Let's look through all the scripts here. Probably doesn't have to worry about the 300 lines in here. Ugh. That was just so I can put, to do the test, was to do the test of seeing if I can export a video into here and see what it does. So, because I wanted to test to see whether or not video actually works and what kind of quality you get and what the limits are. Limits are, you can't make it smaller, but you can make it bigger. So it's literally here. This is the video that on here is going on. So I can turn the rest of these off, I think. And it's just all the elements inside of this group here. So this is the video. I could probably put it back up, and then just use it as one of my videos as a test, and then autoplays and loops, and then, but yeah, it's dependent on your resolution. So that's why I was like, if I make my resolution shorter by adding, because what I'm gonna do is in here, I'm gonna figure out what size of the widescreen is still acceptable, and then take the size of this height, figure out what this value is, and then render the video at that height, and then make that my video. And it just be, because it's not going onto YouTube, I can just have a weird scale size of the video. And by doing it this way, then I won't have a full 1080p 1920 by 1080p resolution. I can have it be a little bit shorter, so it'll be less. Imagine all these pixels not being used over this many frames will then save half a megabyte or something. Just so that the file size of when you download it, it'll be a little bit more optimized, a little smaller. When you download the video, when you download the whole game, the video won't take up that much. Because apparently with Wind Waker, with Zelda Wind Waker on GameCube version, they probably had some trouble trying to get the transition from the end credits, going from the real-time ending sequence to go into the credits. They had a little trouble with that, where they could have had the end credits be real-time inside of the game and just have a whole bunch of little bubbles and the credits and stuff. But apparently they couldn't quite figure that out or something. So instead of making the credits be real-time inside the game engine, they rendered it as a video. But that just meant like the entire ending cutscene and the credits are one giant video, and it takes up like a third of the entire disk space of the game. So of all the game data audio, that's nothing compared to like to the ending credits and cutscene. Which also has some weird anomalies where the Link at the very end in that ending sequence is wearing default clothes. So even if you were wearing like pajamas or any kind of armor colors or whatever, those essentially, you know, are gone in the ending sequence just because that's a video, you know. They didn't want to render that times as many armor sets that you can get, so that's what I'm kind of doing here as well. We're just gonna make one video and it is gonna be weird default derpy here and then deal with it. But trying to not do that weird mistake of or oversight, or who knows what kind of technical limits they were at with that, where they couldn't have the credits be real time or anything, or literally have like a third of the credits size or something. Huh. It says the file size of Wind Waker on GameCube is 1.3, but the remake on the Wii U has a file size of 1.1. Weird. It was like one of those digital gaming things, but I can't find that now. Why can't I find it like today? I don't know. It's just Bing not working right. Search on Google instead. But anyway, I'm not gonna animate the rest of this today, but let's see. Yeah, it's not exactly. Yeah. Choice to use a pre-rendered movie for the ending sequence, which potentially consuming more space than the in-game alternative, was likely a practical decision. I don't know. Within the limitations and constraints of the GameCube development, in a chosen mini DVD format. Huh. So anyway. So, where are we? So we're July 12th now or something. I mean, at this point, when is this gonna get done? I don't know. Cause my plan was to make this little preview kind of thing and have you guys play it, but some of the buttons don't work and some of the other features don't work, so I was like, I'll just hold off. There's not too much gameplay stuff anyway for you guys to really check. Kind of was just playing around with all the different options and pause menus and all this to make sure that these are somewhat stable, most of them. So it's gonna be making sure that all of these are good and actually work would be nice. Like we click on tutorial, this actually doesn't work. This button here doesn't actually bring you back to this anything. So essentially people then say, why do I get soft locked? I can't escape. And I was like, I know. So I might as well just wait for later to get all the other buttons and screens and whatever's to actually work, and then do a preview of it later. So for right now, hang on. Ooh. So yeah, ironically it would be better suited later as a more of a winter thing. Obviously I don't want to spend too much time on this, but especially this is a free game that I don't want to, because that's the whole thing, is that I thought, you know, there's so many, you know, game developers who just say, you know, you should make a small game, and it's like, I thought this would be a small game. In essence it is. I mean, there isn't, you know, I was gonna have like 3 levels, I was gonna have different biomes, I was gonna have a bunch of different stuff, but I thought all these, you know, individually wouldn't take too long. And for the most part, you know, I can kind of copy paste some code here and there, but a lot of it is just making those puzzle pieces that I said that one time, where, see, I don't know how to just code things, so it's like much harder for me to just be like, okay, make all of this. So I explained this like last time, where I don't have the skills to be able to just make something from nothing, so I gotta put everything, that's all the values and all the variables and all the scripts, and then that becomes one component, like a puzzle piece, and then hopefully that works with everything else, check it, and then make sure the rest of the script works, and then it could be put together in a puzzle piece kind of fashion. So I'm at the point where I'm this, where I got all the components, variables and stuff, and some of the script stuff, and make sure that those kind of work, or at least are tagged to each other. So I'm just in this scribble right now with some of these parts where it's like, why isn't it not working? So I'll have to untangle this, and then hopefully it becomes just a regular component puzzle piece thing, and then I can slot it with everything else that makes the game, and make all the rest of this game work and be happy. But until then, I'm just spending hours and hours and staying up late and trying my best to figure things out on my own, with AI telling me you should do things, and then later on saying you shouldn't do that. Here's what you do to do. You should undo everything that I told you. You should do it better. And then I'm scared that that will not only probably break a bunch of things, but also be another dumb way of doing things. And because I don't know how to just code, just like regular stuff, it means that I don't know whether or not something is good enough for me to just use or not. You know, like how blindly should I be using all the AI code stuff, which does work for the most part. Because it does, what are these? Because it does work. I mean, it does say like a bunch of this stuff. You know, I can give it my code and it's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, now it should be, you know, work. But also it's like, yeah, it should delete your other stuff. I was like, it's not working. The Derpy Ball player updates correctly, and it's like, yeah, you're very close. If you just do all of this, it'll work. And I was like, no, it didn't work. And it's like, no, stay up. I know. I feel like though I'm more of a I'm a morning person and a knocked owl at the same time. So whatever. So I get enough energy to do stuff in the morning. Like I can go to work like at, you know, like be there at 9 a.m. and start working, and then I get tired in the middle of the day, like evening, late afternoon, and then I kind of get my energy back up like around like 9 or 10, and then it's like okay, and then everything's quiet and dark, so I can focus back in and like dial back in and then focus on the game. And then I don't like to walk away from something that's not working, especially because I feel like I'm so close that it's like if I just keep pushing or try to change different switches or something, then it should work, right? The AI is telling me if I just do these 3 simple steps, it'll work. And then I go through it all and double check everything, and then it's like, no. And it's like, well, that must mean you have a problem with something else essential. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, I changed that, and it's like, okay. Did you try doing the first step? And it's like, so, get run around in circles being like, please, why? What am I doing wrong? And the worst is when something does work, because I know that everything's so fickle, where everything is, to have things work is like, you know, every star in the universe has to align for one thing to actually properly do its function that I want. So when it works is like so happy. And the worst thing is to have something that was working break, and it's like, I don't know how to fix this. You know, so it's like, please just work, please. So I have lost a lot of sleep. I've been working so hard on this day in and day out, and I keep getting days off from work, so now I feel like I'm obligated to just keep working on this all day, you know? Like I had Friday off yesterday, so I worked on it up to 3 a.m, you know, trying to fix something and all the other buttons and stuff, and now I get Monday off, so now I feel like I have to spend the entire day on Monday to work on this as well. So now you guys are getting probably impatient with me, and it's like, I'm trying, you know. If I know what I'm doing, I could just get it done, you know. I'm just at a point now where everything's so messy, and probably just a bunch of AI garbage trying its best to understand what I want. There's so many times where like it would say, hey, you should do you know, you should include this health text bar, you know, that you sure do want. You should update that. And it's like, I am not doing it that way. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess you're not. So that you're not doing that. And it's like, that's right, we're not. Just get so laundried, you know, tumbler dried all day. Doing, you know, getting tossed around and being told in circles of how to do things, and then not having it work, and then being told, did you do the thing I told you first? And it's like, you should make sure that your spelling's correct. You should double check your spelling. And it's like, okay, yep, I did it right. And then to be told later, like, you should double check your spelling. And it's like, please, I did. Because again, like, the AI isn't going to say, I don't know, or no to something that's, you know, legal. Whatever, you know. It's like, hey, can you help me with this code? And it's like, okay. So I just need my dad or someone to actually humanly look at it. Problem is that he doesn't know GD code specifically, but at least he knows code enough to be able to just probably look through it and be like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. So, I think we're getting impatient. You enjoy it? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the fun too, I guess. I mean, the game itself is probably really... The gameplay loop probably won't take that long. It's just a dino jump over cactus game. That's all I want. It just started out where it's just like, I want Derpy to jump over rock, and then now I'm stuck here with buttons that don't work and animations that were working don't work, and so many screens and so many options, and I've been working on this for like 9 months now. I feel like I'm close, but it's like, when will this actually be stable enough that every basic function will work? I don't know. So we'll just cut it off here for the stream, and then I guess I'll have lunch and figure out my next steps. That lunch will probably take a little bit of yeah, I'll just take a nap. Today I've had around, let's see, maybe 6 hours of sleep. Compounded with the rest of the week, where I've also lost sleep, so... I'm tired. So... it'll be out when it's out. I don't have a street date for this anymore. I can't even, you know... and that's it, you know. So it's close, but it's like not good enough to actually be a game yet, because everyone will say that the options doesn't work, and it's like, I know. How would you fix it? 'Cause I don't know. So I don't know what I've... Probably to get this done better or something would have been to actually have a programmer just help me with this. I didn't know how complicated, or now that I've compounded all the mess together, has just accumulated more and more. So need to strip things down and just do things correctly, I guess. I don't know. Getting a text. It's my mom. Okay. Oh, okay. So, we will come back next week with more of this, maybe, because there's always apparently more stuff to do, as can't just get things done. I did do a lot of work. You saw that things are progressing, but it's always one step forward, 5 steps back, where I make one thing and then 5 other things break. So so I'm gonna take that nap, probably an extended cat naps fast or slow. I'll take a long nap anyway. So thank you guys for dealing with this weird stream where I'm so tired. Okay, bye bye. Thank you everyone for your support. Yay, thank you. Okay, good night. Alright, yeah, we'll be back next week. Thank you guys. Alright, bye bye.